Hello Year 4, welcome back. This week we are going to be learning about angles. Okay, so to start us off we just need to discuss what an angle is and what the meaning is. Okay, so if we have a look at my definition, okay, an angle is the amount of turning. Okay, and we're going to have a look at some examples together in a moment, so don't worry if this isn't making sense at the moment, but an angle is the amount of turning, okay, and it's when two straight lines, and that's important, straight lines make an angle, and the two lines must meet at a point. Okay, so let's look at some example angles that myself and Miss Rickson made earlier. Okay, so if I start off by looking at myself here, okay, I've got my arm and I've bent it. Okay, so I've got two straight parts, okay, and then my angle would be this part inside. So I've made this angle here, okay. If we have a look at Miss Rickson up here, her angle, okay, they're nice and straight there. Myself up here again with my arm, okay, I've got my two straight parts here. And there would be my angle. And then finally, Miss Rickson sat beautifully here. Okay, and then I've got my angle there. Okay, so it just kind of shows you what an angle can look like. You could have a go at home at making some of your own angles using different parts of your body. Okay, but we are now going to have another look at some examples. So, for this, you will need to refer back to what I discussed earlier, okay, about the fact that an angle is the amount of turning. It's when two straight lines make an angle, and the two lines must meet at a point. What I'd like you to do is have a look at these six diagrams. I want you to pause the video. Can you identify which are angles and which are not? Excellent, right, hopefully you had a go at that. Let's go through it together. So, letter A, it is meeting at a point, okay, with two straight lines. So this is an angle, okay, and this would be my angle here, okay. B is not showing an angle, okay, because the two lines are not meeting at a point, okay, it's just two straight lines. C, once again, not an angle, not meeting at a point. D is an angle, okay, my angle is here, it's two straight lines meeting at a point. And E is an angle again, they're meeting, here's my angle. And then finally F is an angle, okay, because they're meeting at a point there. Okay, so there was A, D, E and F are angles, B and C are not, okay. Excellent, right. I'm now going to make some angles to show you. Okay, so the way I've made these, okay, is just with two bits of card, okay, and a split pin. If you'd like, at home, you could have a go at making your own angles, okay. You don't have to use card, you could use paper, okay, and you don't need to have a split pin, okay. You could use something like sellotape or blue tack or a paper clip, okay. But what I can do with these, okay, is I can move it so I can create my angle, okay. I'm going to be creating two angles, and then we're going to be looking at which angle is smaller, okay, and which angle is greater. So I'm going to make this angle and this angle, okay. I'd like you to pause the video, which is smaller, which is greater. Okay, so if I think about my smaller and greater angle, let's see what you've got. Okay, if I look at my two angles here, okay, I've got my angle here, okay, and my angle here. So this angle is therefore smaller, okay, than this angle. Oh, it's not quite fitting on the sheet, okay, because if I draw in my angle, okay, this one is much bigger than this one, okay. Okay, right, time for one final activity before I give you your task for today. Okay, what I'm going to do now is give you 3 different angles, and I would like you to arrange the angles in order, beginning with the smallest. Okay, so you might want to just write it down on a piece of paper. Okay, so the first angle I'm going to make is this one. Second angle, and then my final angle. Okay, so looking at the 3 angles that I've created, can you write down at home which is the smallest? So we can number them, so 1, 2 and 3. Okay, which is the smallest up to the biggest? Okay, so let's see how you got on. So I'm going to put smallest. Okay, draw a line up to the greatest. Okay, so looking at my 3 angles that I've got here, 1, 2 and 3, okay, looking at the size of the angles, okay, or the amount of turning that's happening, okay, hopefully you recognise that number 2 was the smallest angle, okay, so number 2 was the smallest angle. Then I've got 1 and 3 left, okay. If I look at the amount of turning that I've got between my angles, okay, this is the next smallest. Okay, leaving me then with number 1, which is then my greatest angle. Okay, so hopefully you managed to put them in the right order. Right, now it's your turn. So you can find a copy of this sheet on the Learning PowerPoint on the website. Okay, but I've set for you 3 different questions. Okay, the first one, you just need to identify the angles. Okay. Number 2 is looking at the angles which are the greater angles. Okay. Number 3 is ordering the angles like we've just done. And then I've put there just a little extra task if you'd like to have a go at. Okay, I've put make or draw your own angles. So like I discussed earlier, okay, you could cut up some bits of paper to make your own angles. And then can you put them in order from the smallest to the greatest? I'll see you tomorrow to go through the answers.
Hi Year 4, welcome back to Fluent in 5. Now you'll see today I've chosen a different outfit. Miss Meg and I decided to go and raid Miss Coxhead's Rock Challenge cupboard. This was our outfit of choice for today, and make sure you check in this week because there'll be a different item of clothing each day. So hopefully you can still pay attention on the maths. This week is a little bit different because what we are going to ask you to do, instead of saying you've got to do a written or a mental method, you're going to have to decide for yourself. So we've got A, which is 120 divided by 4. B, 7,431, take away something is 4,843. C, 90 add 60. And D, 456 times 3. Now if it were me, I think 2 of them I would do using a mental calculation and 2 I would do a written method for. Pause the video, have a go and come back to check your answers. So, let's now go through the answers. A, 120 divided by 4. Now this is one that I would have done mentally. So I would have used my knowledge of 12 divided by 4, which is 3. I know 120 is just 10 times bigger than 12. So my answer is going to be 10 times bigger. So 120 divided by 4 is 30. B, now this calculation is one I would definitely have used a written method for, so let's have a go at the answer. So, 7,431, take away something is 4,843. Now, I don't know what this number is yet, so I'm going to have to rearrange my calculation. So, I know that if I do 7,431, take away 4,843, I will find my missing number in the middle. So, one take away 3 ones, haven't got enough to do that, so I'm going to regroup one of my 10s for 10 ones, giving me 11 in total. So 11 ones, take away 3 is 8 ones. Then I've got 2 10s. Take away 4 10s, again haven't got enough 10s, so I'm going to regroup one of my hundreds, so I've got 3 hundreds remaining, and I'm regrouping that for 10 10s, so now I've got 12 10s, take away 4 10s, which equals 8 10s, Then I've got 300s, take away 800s. Again, haven't got enough hundreds to do that, so I'm going to regroup one of my thousands, leaving me with 6. Regrouping that for 10 hundreds, so I've got 13 hundreds, take away 8, which equals 5 hundreds, and then I've got 6,000, take away 4,000 is 2,000. So, and in order to check your answer, you could then do the calculation, 7,431, take away 2,580. 8 to check your work. So that's our answer there. C, again, one that I would have done mentally. So I know that 90, add 60, that's just like adding 6 tens. I know that if I add 1 10, I'd get to 100, and add 5 tens would get me to 150. And then D is one that I would have also done a written method for. So we've got 456 times 3. So 6 ones times 3 is 18 ones. So regroup one of those 10s. 10 of those ones for 110, have 8 left. 5 10s times 3 is 15 10s. Add my 110 is 16 10s, so regroup 10 of those for 100. And then I've got 400s times 3 is 1200s. Add another one is 1300s, regroup 10 of those for 1000, so the product of 456 times 3 is 1368. Hopefully you had to go at that. Check in tomorrow to see what costume Miss Legg and I decided to choose.